exactly it helps like for scaling our applications, and what are the main services of Google Cloud and how to get started. So today it's kind of like introductory to intermediate level of session, but I'll try to keep it simple with some examples. So my entire slides was are focusing like through pictures and memes today as well. So comparatively it's more today, you will see that in some of my next slides. So here in the storage and databases, we have seen cloud storage. So we have took an example of our own like university site, and then all the PDFs will go to cloud storage, and all the user details will go to cloud SQL, cloud SQL. And in the same way, we have seen IoT, wherein I want to get some data from sensors. Then in that case, I'll connect it to cloud IoT core. So coming back to today's session. So yesterday we have explored to some point, and we have reached uh, halfway to our milestone. So now we have a halfway more to travel and to explore what exactly the serverless compute is, and how serverless will be like working on Google Cloud. And we'll see a couple of serverless components. In the interest of time, there are like more than 10 serverless components, but these two are the main components. Like whenever you use in your college projects or anything, these are some of the uh, two important services which are provided by Google Cloud. So what exactly is serverless? So like nowadays, each and every architecture, like from small scale companies to large scale companies, again we can take example of Netflix only. So Netflix actually everything is serverless. So what exactly serverless is, and by the end of the serverless session, we will know how the Netflix is actually like providing large scale media to the entire users. So now I guess the base subscriber base of Netflix is around 200 million users or 250 million users. I'm not sure on the number, but it's between 200 to 250 million users. And how exactly they are giving a seamless viewing experience for their subscribers. So we'll discuss on that particular use case primarily. And then again, there are many ways. So many ways to implement a particular solution. So solution in the sense, I have a code which is running on my laptop. The same code I can put it on cloud. Again, in cloud I have many options. Like sorry,
What was that? Your side?
it's not from my side.
Uh, Keep everyone in mute then. Okay, done.
Yeah.
Sorry, right.
So yeah, there are many ways.
Someone not in mute. It's in Gaurav side, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, continue.
yeah. So there are many ways actually to address a single problem. So I have a code which can run on my local laptop, but I want to extend like it to different users. So I'll choose a cloud, and then there are many products. Again, I can put it on compute engine, which is I can create a VM and like install a OS on that and put my code and then run. In the same way, there is another way. So choosing an app engine wherein if we put our entire code there and it will start running. So writing a single configuration file, it will start running my code. In the same way, there is other approach which is serverless. We can actually it will get rid of all the configurations as well. We can directly put our code there and it will start running. So here itself we have discussed three ways, and there are again five or six more ways to address a single problem. So let's see like how exactly we can address a problem with a serverless approach. So now we are going to actually see about serverless, but like to a newbie, whenever like when I have started learning serverless, so I felt that serverless doesn't contain servers itself, but that assumption is wrong. So it contains servers, but let's see how exactly the servers have been deployed on cloud. So serverless, like you keep using that word, and I do not think it means what you mean it means. Yeah, it's same. So serverless is something which consists of servers, but actually we need not manage those servers. So again, this is one more meme says that serverless is nothing but there are servers, but we need not manage. So whenever we take an example of creating a virtual machine on the Google Cloud, in that case, I need to go and first create a VM and then use it. But when I go for serverless, I need not create the server. I can directly put my code and run. So that's the main difference. And finally, serverless is made of servers. uh, like please keep in mind that whatever we are going to discuss, the term is serverless, but everything is made of servers, and we are going to consume the pre made or ready made servers to our use. So again, serverless is not no server. It's no server for you to manage. So this is the key term in serverless. Not only the cloud functions or App Engine or any other serverless function. If you take Amazon Web Service, there is something called AWS Lambda and AWS Beanstalk. So if you take Azure, there is cloud like functions again. And so in these three major players in the public cloud spectrum, uh, everyone has their own serverless capabilities. But again, you need to understand.
Yay!
Participants, please mute yourself. I request the participants to mute. Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So serverless is again nothing but there are servers which are there in their control, like Google Cloud control, but we need not manage those servers to actually use them. So it's again a good comic. So serverless is my server dead. So it's actually not that your server is dead, but it's something like your server is being migrated, like being taken care of some third party service, which is Google Cloud, and you are only consuming that server to actually run your code. So yeah, so you don't need config management if you use serverless. So it's again the same. So whenever I use serverless, let's again compare the creating a virtual machine and using server. So when I create a virtual machine,